Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for SAT. We have been solving SAT math problems out of this book here, the official SAT study guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 416. Please turn to it, page 416. These are what are known as grid-in problems, where you have to grid in your own answer. I do not know how to spell things. Grid-in problems. But the college board, the people who give you the exam, the ETS, the college board, they're very fancy folks, they're very sophisticated folks. They do not like to call it grid-in questions, they like to call it the student-produced response. Student-produced response. And there are 10 of them. Beginning with question number 9, there are 10 of them. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Because there are 10 of them, they are arranged obviously on a scale of difficulty of 1 to 10. These 3 are going to be easy, then the medium, and the last 3 are going to be pure hell. So when I'm looking at this thing, I just like to keep it simple. Think of this as like this. The first page that you see there, page number 416, think of that page as easy. The next page, as you turn the thing, there are 4 questions on the next page. Think of those as medium. And the third page, page 418, those are hard. Let's get going. First page is called easy because it's very straightforward, as you will see. In number 9, we are told that root 2 p equals 18. Question is, what's the value of p? There are 2 ways you can go about it. One way is to just square both sides. Square both sides and you will find that 2p equals 18 and therefore p equals 9. That's it, we are done. Another way we could have taken care of this thing is this way. Root 2p, we are told, the square root of 18, which can be written as 2 times 9. We have our 2 here, that means p must be 9. That's all. Next one, number 10. When 1.783 is rounded to the nearest whole number, the result is how much greater than when it is rounded to nearest tenth. Alright. So when it's rounded to nearest whole number, well, nearest whole number to 1.7 is 2. And when it's rounded to nearest tenth, the nearest tenth digits, because of the fact that this is more than 5, because of the fact that the 100 digits is more than 5, when you round it, you end up with 1.8. And therefore the difference is 2 minus 1.8 or 0.02. 0.02. Let's go to the next one. Number 11. On the next page, page 417. Samantha is packing for a trip. One of the towels in the of the towels in the closet, 6 are brown. Good for her. 6 are brown. That's it, 6 are brown. She will randomly pick one of the towels to pack. If the probability is 2/5 that the towel she picks is brown, how many are there? Oh, for crying out loud. So 2/5 of something equals 6 is what we are told. 2/5 of the number of towel equals 6. Multiply both sides by 5 and you find that 2 times x equals 30 and therefore it is 15. She must have 15 towels in the closet. This is what I just did was a very roundabout way of doing it. The quicker way would have been this. There are 6 of them altogether, and the odds is 2/5, so it's just 2/5 times 6, which is 30 over, which is That does not give me what I'm looking for. What did I do wrong? Oh no, 2/5 of something is 6. No, this is the correct way. 2/5 of means multiply, of something is 6. And that turns out to be 15. That's all. This is about, actually, I think is the most direct way. I wasn't thinking right. Number 12. Number 12 is going to require some thinking. I want you to pay very close attention, otherwise you will have trouble. Okay, we have 5 points. Oh, for some strange reason, I forgot to write down the difficulty level of these questions. Because I like to know how they rate these questions. So number 12. I don't know what the difficulty level of this thing is, but anyway, let's take a look here. 5 different points A, B, C, D, and E lie on a line in that order. Alright. We are told that A to D is 4.5. A to D, we are told, is 4.5. The length of BE is 3.5. Alright, and the length of BE is 3.5. We're going to make a note here. We're not going to put this in the picture right now here for 2 reasons. First of all, E is going to go beyond D, and secondly, we do not know where B is so far. We don't know where B is going to fall, so we just want to put randomly here. They must give us something else, so let's read the rest. If the length of CD is 2, oh there you go, length of CD is 2, so let's put down CD here. Length of CD, C to D, is 2. Well, if the length of CD is 2, then A to C must be 2.5. No, alright, maybe that would help. If the length of CD is 2, what is one possible value of B to C? Alright. Okay, so they're just looking for one possible value of B to C. It's up to us now to put down B wherever we want to put. So why don't we put, in other words, it's 3.5 and it's E, point E tells us that this is going to go beyond it. It's up to us how much far behind you want it to go. For example, because it's 3.5, let's make it simple. Let's start from here. This is 2. Let's start from somewhere here. Okay, listen. Let's start from somewhere here and pretend that from here to here is 1. From here, C to D, this is C and this is D. This is 2 and this is your B, and then this is going to be our E. And this is going to be half. And that would work. That would do the job nicely. Because B to C is 1, C to D is C to D we are told is 2. We haven't changed that part. And therefore there's 3. And B to E is 3.5. That means D to E must be half. That's all. Question is, what is one possible value of B to C? Well, there you go. This is one possible value. That does the job. That works beautifully. So that's it. The answer is 1. One possible value of B to C is 1. This is one way of doing it. This is one way of doing it. But if you are interested in doing it, if you're interested in solving this problem in a theoretical manner and an abstract manner, we could do that too. In which case, we'll actually get a range of what possible values of B could be, B to C could be. Should we do that? Let's do it again on the blackboard. So one more time before I erase this thing, here's what we did. We are told that A to D is 4.5. Then we were told that B to E is 3.5. We did not put B to E right away because we didn't know where B is located. We know that E, because of the fact it's E, it goes beyond it, because they are listed in alphabetical order on the line, but we don't know where B falls. But in the next sentence they tell us that C to D is 2. Well, if C to D is 2, then we can put it here. You see, this is all one line. This is not 3 different lines. This is all one line. So line will actually look like this now. Our line actually looks like this. Stops here. These are not several different lines. The same exact line. I just didn't want to put everything in one shot because that would be confusing. So here is our A. Our B is here, and now we know that this is 1. This means this must be 1.5. So A to B is 1.5. B to C, as you can see, is 1. C to D, as you can see, is 2. And D to E, as you can see, is half. Voila. 1.5 plus 1 is 2.5. 2.5 times 4 is 4.5. 4.5, which is what we were told. A to D is 4.5. And then E sticks out another half an inch. making it 5 inch. And that's how they're listed. This is not the only way. This is not the only arrangement. This is one possible arrangement. In which case, B to C would be 1. Right here. B to C would be 1. Let's do the same question in theoretical manner if you're interested. Which is not a lot of fun because they're not asking for it. They're not asking for it, but we're going to do it anyway. A to D, we are told, is 4.5. We are also told that B to E is 3.5. That implies that A to B, whatever it is, has to be more than 1. Why? Why does that imply that A to B has to be more than 1? Here's the reason. Because if A to B were 1, were being meaning that it's just a purely hypothetical statement. If A to B were 1, then in that case point E would end up falling right on point D. I'm going to show you here. Here is our A to D, and that is 4.5. What we are saying is that if A to B were 1, let's put down here 1, right here, A to B is 1. If A to B is 1, then this will be 3.5. This will be 3.5. B to D will be 3.5. But we are told that B to E is 3.5, which means this is D and E are the same. D and E would end up being the same point. We're not allowed that. We are told that these are 5 distinct, separate, different points. 2 points cannot overlap each other, which means A to B must be more than 1. A to B must be more than 1. This is too close. Let's see what happens now. So I need to erase this thing again. Or maybe you can do it here. Given the fact that A to B is more than 1, given the fact that A to B is more than 1, that implies that B to C would have to be less than 1.5. This is how it will look. This is how the picture would look. I was going back and forth as I was looking at it as to deciding how much detail I should go into. Perhaps I don't need to go into this much detail because this is going to really piss you off, because this is, oh sorry, I didn't say that. I do tend to speak a little bit French. I can't help it, I'm bilingual. So this is 4.5. And here's our point C. This is 2.5. And this is 2. C to D is 2. Is that what we're told? C to D is 2. I lost track of the things here. C to D I'm sorry, just give me 1 second here. I lost track of things here. Yes, C to D is 2. That's what that is. So here is A to B. A to B. Let's call it from here to here. And we know that A to B, we know now, is more than 1. Well, if A to B is more than 1, and from here to here is 2.5, that means that C to B has to be somewhere B to C, right here, B to C. Let me put it a little bit down because we're almost done. This is it, this is our punchline. Therefore, that implies that B to C has got to be obviously something more than 0. It cannot be 0, because if B to C were 0, then we'll end up saying that point C falls right on B. It cannot be 0, it's got to be more than 0, but it's got to be less than 1.5. So that's what we are left with here. That's what it is. That's our answer. This is the proper answer. B to C is somewhere between 0 and 1.5. It cannot be 0, it's got to be more than 0, and it's got to be something less than 1.5. I'm looking for my cap here, in case you're wondering where my eyes are going all over. Because if you don't put the bloody thing on it right away, it dries up. That's it, that's the answer to it. It's something between 0 and 1.5. But this much of a complication is not something what you would like to do and what you would want to do in the exam, because obviously there's a constraint of time. I just did it for learning purposes. The first part that we did was good enough. B to C was what we found out was 1 and was perfect. Let's do the next one, shall we? Let's do the next one. Number 13. In number 13, we are told that in a 30-day month, for every 3 days that it rained, so for every 3 days that it rained, we had 2 days when it didn't. Making a one set of 5 days. Making a one set of 5 days. Now it doesn't matter how the set appears. For example, you can have rain, rain, no rain, no rain, and rain. That will be a one set. Or you can have rain, no rain, no rain, rain, rain. Or you can have rain, 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 no rain, no rain. Or you can have no rain, no rain, 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 rain. It doesn't matter. The point is, this is the pattern that it will follow. Every 5 days it follows this pattern. 2 days we have rain, 3 days we don't have rain. So a set makes a 5 days. That's all you have to understand here. A set makes 5 days. This is a very simple question. There are 30 days in a month. The question is how many sets we will have. What is the question asking? The number of days in April on which it rained was how much greater than the number of days that it did not rain. Alright, big freaking deal. Alright, so there are 30 of them. There are 30 days. For every 3 days it rains, 2 days it does not rain. And there are 6 sets. There are 6 sets here. Because 30 divided by 5 is 6. 30 divided by 5 is 6, which means we have 6 sets here. A set makes 5 days and we have 6 sets. So this is going to be 18, this is going to be 12, or the difference is 6. How many more days it rained compared to the days that it did not rain? The answer is 6. Number 14. That's it, we're done with this one. Let's see what they have to say in number 14. The very last one on the page. It says each term of, they get a little bit more difficult, they get a little bit more tedious. The next page is going to be even more for hell when we get to it. And perhaps I will not try to do all 4 of them in one video. It gets to be a very long video. They're quite nasty on the next page. Number 14. Each term of a certain sequence is greater than the term before it. Alright? The difference between any 2 consecutive terms in the sequence is always the same. Alright? So that's very important. The difference is always the same. If the 3rd term and the 6th term in the sequence are 17 and 77. Alright? So here's our sequence. Let's make a list here. Here's our 3rd term, 4th term, 5th term, 6th term. That's it. Now, what they're telling us is that the difference between the 3rd term and the 4th term is some constant number. Let's call that difference between these 2 terms, let's call it D. And that difference stays the same. That difference is the same as the difference between the 5th term and the 4th term. That difference is constant. If you take any consecutive terms and you subtract one from the other, that difference is going to be the same. Similarly, from 5 to 6, that difference is constant. We are told that the 3rd term is 17. We are also told that the 6th term is 77. This is the 6th term. This is the 3rd one. 77 minus 17. 77 minus 17 is just 60. And that 60 represents 3 Ds. 1 D, 2 Ds, 3 Ds. Going from here to here is adding this number 3 times, this D, whatever that D happens to be. We'll just find out in a second what that D is. Therefore, if you divide both sides, it turns out that D is 20. In other words, the difference between the 2 adjacent terms is 20, which means if it's 17, The next one is going to be not 27 but rather 37. The one after that is going to be 47 and then 57. And then one after that is going to be 67 and then 77. There you go. That's all. The answer is 20. The difference is 20. Oh no, we are not done yet. That's not what they're looking for. They're asking us what is the 8th term. Blasted. So the 8th term is going to be, so 77, you add 20 more, you end up with the 7th term, and you add another 20, and we end up with the 8th term. Big deal. 8th term is 117. That's the answer. Oh, you got to read these questions carefully. This is the grading questions. They are nasty because of the fact that these are not multiple choice questions. I don't think in a multiple choice question they would have given an answer choice of 20, or maybe they would have, because if they did give answer choice of 20 in this question, that means they're being really meanie. Because had they given answer choice of 20, I would have picked 20 because I thought I was done. I wasn't paying attention. They're not looking for what the difference is between the two each adjacent terms. That's not what they were asking. They were asking what's the 8th term. And the 8th term is going to be, oh no, we still have to find out the difference, because I was about to say all we have to do is take the 6th term and add 40 to it. But how would we have known that we had to add 40 until we figured out the D? So we had to figure out the D, the difference. I will see you tomorrow, okay? Bye now.